A single line of bad code created $184 billion out of thin air. For 2 hours, regular people became millionaires. Then, the clock started ticking backwards. Welcome to Tech They Don't Teach, where we explore technology, power, and human consequences. August 1st, 2012, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. The opening bell rings on the New York Stock Exchange, and Knight Capital Group, one of the largest traders on Wall Street, activates their newest trading algorithm. Within 45 minutes, they would lose $440 million. But here's the twist nobody talks about. While Knight Capital was bleeding money, someone else was getting rich. Very rich. And it all came down to a bug so simple, it's taught in Computer Science 101. Let me show you exactly what happened, because this story perfectly captures what we talk about on this channel: technology, power, and human consequences. Knight Capital handled about 10% of all US stock trades. Think about that. Every 10th share of Apple, Google, or Amazon that changed hands went through their systems. They were the invisible infrastructure of the stock market. That's power, the kind that operates in the shadows, moving billions while remaining unknown to most people. In July 2012, they were upgrading their trading software to comply with the NYSE's new Retail Liquidity Program. The new code was called SMARS, Smart Market Access Routing System. It was supposed to make them more efficient, more competitive, more profitable. The deployment plan was straightforward. Install the new code on 8 servers. That's it. Update 8 machines and you're golden. Except they only updated 7. One server still had the old code running, and buried in that old code was a function labeled PowerPeg, legacy code from 2003 that had been deactivated for years. When SMARS sent trading instructions, it used flag values to communicate between systems. One particular flag was repurposed from the old PowerPeg system. Here's where the computer science gets beautiful in its horror. Servers 1 through 7 receives flag, interprets as execute smart routing. Server 8 receives flag, interprets as activate PowerPeg. PowerPeg wasn't designed for the 2012 market. It was a relic from a slower, simpler time. When it activated, it started executing trades based on outdated logic with no safeguards, no position limits, no sanity checks. This is what they don't teach you in coding boot camps. Legacy code isn't just old code. It's a loaded gun lying around in your system, waiting for someone to accidentally pull the trigger. At 9:30 and 0 seconds, SMARS goes live. By 9:30 and 4 seconds, 4 seconds later, Server 8 begins firing orders into the market like a machine gun. We're talking 4 million trades in 45 minutes. That's 1,481 trades per second. Here's what made this bug particularly devastating. PowerPeg was buying high and selling low, over and over and over. The algorithm would receive a parent order to buy stock, buy shares at the asking price, immediately try to sell those shares, sell at the bid price, which is always lower, repeat with the same parent order. It's like I told you to buy me a coffee, and you interpreted that as buy a coffee for $5, sell it for $4, buy another for $5, sell for $4, and repeat until you run out of money. Knight Capital systems showed the positions building up, but the risk managers thought they were seeing normal activity, just scaled up for the new system. The sheer volume made it look legitimate. When you're dealing with millions of data points per second, human intuition becomes useless. You're trusting the machines, and the machines were lying. At 9:35 a.m., traders on the NYSE floor started noticing something weird. Stocks were moving erratically. Not just a few stocks, 148 different stocks started showing bizarre price swings for no reason. A penny stock called Molycorp suddenly shot up 15% for no reason. BAT's global markets dropped 10%. These weren't small companies having bad news days. These were violent, inexplicable movements in milliseconds. High-frequency trading firms watching the market had algorithms designed to detect exactly this kind of anomaly. When they spotted the pattern, they did what any rational algorithm would do. They took the other side of Knight's trades. Think about it from their perspective. You're an algorithm watching the market, and you see someone desperately buying shares at higher and higher prices. What do? You sell to them, then when they frantically try to offload those shares seconds later, you buy them back at the lower price. Free money. Firms like Citadel, Getco, and other HFT shops made an estimated $20 to $50 million in those 45 minutes. Some individual traders who noticed the pattern early and moved fast claimed they made six figures before lunch. One anonymous trader on a forum later wrote, "I thought my screen was broken. Then I realized the market was broken. Then I realized I could profit from it being broken. Made enough to buy a Tesla, in cash." This is the power dynamic we explore on Tech They Don't Teach. The people with the fastest computers, the best algorithms, and the most sophisticated monitoring systems weren't victims, they were predators, and Knight Capital had just become prey. At 9:47 a.m., 17 minutes into the disaster, Knight Capital's phone lines lit up. Clients were calling, other brokers were calling, the NYSE was calling. What the hell are you doing? Here's where you see the human side of system failures. The tech team at Knight knew something was catastrophically wrong, but they couldn't just hit a kill switch. Trading systems aren't like your laptop where you can force quit in application. Why? Because if you shut down incorrectly, you risk leaving millions of dollars in unsettled trades, creating even bigger problems. They needed to identify which server was rogue, isolate it from the trading network, cancel pending orders, and reconcile what positions they actually held, all while hemorrhaging roughly $10 million per minute. Imagine being the engineer in that room. You wrote some of this code, you deployed some of these servers, and now you're watching your company commit financial suicide in real time, and every second you spend diagnosing the problem costs enough money to buy a house. The human consequences had already begun. Traders on the floor who worked for Knight knew their jobs were probably gone. Risk managers knew they'd be blamed. The CEO knew he was about to make the worst phone calls of his career. The team finally killed the bad server at 10:15 a.m., 45 minutes of chaos, but the damage was done. Knight Capital was now holding positions they never wanted in 154 stocks. They owned 3.5 million shares of every stock they touched, some worth hundreds of dollars per share. Their entire capital reserve was $365 million. Their loss? $440 million. They were dead, insolvent, finished.
By the next morning, Knight Capital was in emergency talks with investors. They needed a bailout, and they needed it immediately. 6 financial firms, including Blackstone and Goldman Sachs, stepped in with $400 million in financing. The price? Those firms took a 70% stake in the company. Shareholders who owned Knight Capital on August 1st saw their investment vaporize. Stock that traded at $10 per share dropped to pennies. This is where the human consequences become crystal clear. Employees. 1,400 people worked for Knight Capital. Many held company stock in their retirement accounts. Some lost their entire life savings overnight. Others just lost their jobs when the company downsized post-bailout. Retail investors. Thousands of regular people held Knight Capital stock. Pension funds held it. Mutual funds held it. On August 1st, your retirement account might have had KCG shares. By August 2nd, they were worth 75% less. But let's talk about the people who made money, because this is where power reveals itself. The HFT firms. Conservative estimates put their profits between $20 and $50 million. They provided liquidity when Knight was desperate, and they charged a premium for it. Perfectly legal. Citadel alone reportedly made about $15 million that morning. Their algorithms were faster, smarter, and they had no emotional attachment to the chaos. Individual day traders. Harder to quantify, but forum posts and later interviews suggest dozens of traders made 5 to 6 figures. A few might have crossed into 7 figures if they had enough capital and caught on early enough. These were people watching level 2 order data, people with Bloomberg terminals at home, people who lived for moments like this. The bailout investors. They bought a profitable trading firm at fire sale prices. Knight Capital was eventually acquired by Getco to form KCG Holdings in 2013. Those bailout investors made their money back many times over. This is how wealth works at the institutional level. Crisis for some is opportunity for others.
When the SEC investigated, they found the root cause in the deployment process. Knight Capital had a manual deployment procedure, an actual checklist that technicians were supposed to follow. Checkmark, copy new code to server 1. Checkmark, copy new code to server 2. Checkmark, copy new code to server 3. Checkmark, copy new code to server 4. Checkmark, copy new code to server 5. Checkmark, copy new code to server 6. Checkmark, copy new code to server 7. Empty box, copy new code to server 8. One unchecked box, one forgotten server. But here's the deeper issue. The code had no version checking. Server 8 didn't know it was running outdated software. The new SMARS system didn't verify that all servers were running the same version. There was no flag that said, "Hey, I'm running 2003 code in a 2012 system. Maybe stop me." This is called a deployment consistency check, and it's standard practice in 2024. In 2012, it apparently wasn't standard enough. The SEC fined Knight Capital $12 million for failing to maintain proper controls. That fine came after they'd already lost $440 million. It's like getting a parking ticket after your car's been totaled. This isn't just a story about one company's bad day. This is a masterclass in why software engineering principles exist. Idempotency. Systems should produce the same result if you run the same command multiple times. Knight's system violated this. The same order triggered infinite executions. Graceful degradation. When one component fails, the system should limp along, not catastrophically explode. One bad server took down the entire operation. Monitoring and alerts. Knight had monitoring, but no intelligent thresholds. When you execute 4 million trades in 45 minutes and nobody's alarm goes nuclear, your alerting system is decorative. Kill switches. Every autonomous system that can lose money should have a big red button that says, "Stop everything." It should be tested monthly. Deployment verification. The fact that manual checklists were involved in deploying code to production servers in 2012 is mind-blowing. Automation isn't just convenient, it's safe. The retail liquidity program that Knight was upgrading for, the whole point was to give small retail investors better prices and more efficient trades. Instead, it created the bug that bankrupted a company and made high-frequency traders richer. The retail investors Knight was trying to help, many of them held Knight Capital stock and watched their retirement accounts evaporate. Technology doesn't care about intentions. Code does exactly what you tell it to do. That's the beautiful and terrifying truth that tech classes often skip over when they're teaching you loops and conditionals. One unchecked box, 8 servers, 45 minutes, $440 million gone. And somewhere, a trader who noticed the pattern early probably bought that Tesla. This is what we examine here on Tech They Don't Teach, not just how technology works, but how it redistributes power and creates real human consequences. The code doesn't care who wins or loses. The algorithms don't care who gets rich or who gets wiped out. But we should care, because the next time a bug makes people rich overnight, it might be your retirement account funding their windfall. If you want more stories about the technology that shapes our world in ways nobody talks about, subscribe to Tech They Don't Teach, because understanding technology, power, and human consequences isn't optional anymore. It's survival.